Hare Krishna. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayamudire.
Tato Jayamudire.
Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Shantim me samavasthanam.
Shantim me samavasthanam.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute. Parityakta Guna Samya. Parityakta Guna Samya. Darshano Vishadashaya. Darshano Vishadashaya. Shanti me samavasthanam. Shanti me samavasthanam. Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute. Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Parityakta Guna Samya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Darshano Vishadashaya.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Shanti me samavasthanam.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute. Parityakta Guna Samya. Darshano Vishadashaya. Shanti me samavasthanam. Brahma Kaivalyam Ashnute.
Parityakta Gunaha.
Parityakta Guna.
One who is dissociated from the material modes of nature.
One who is disassociated from the material modes of nature.
Samyak.
Samyak.
Equal.
Equal.
Darshanaha.
Darshanaha.
Is vision.
Vision.
Vishada.
Vishada.
Uncontaminated.
Uncontaminated.
Ashayaha.
Ashayaha.
Is mind or heart.
Mind or heart. Shanti. Peace.
May. My. Samavasthanam.
Samavasthanam.
Equal situation.
Equal situation.
Brahma.
Brahma.
Spirit.
Spirit.
Kaivalyam.
Kaivalyam.
Freedom from
Freedom from
material contamination.
contamination.
Ashnute.
Spirit.
Jesus. When the heart is cleaned of all material contamination, the devotee mind becomes broader and transparent, and you can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace, and one is situated equally with me as Sachidananda Vigraha. When the heart is clean
When the heart is cleansed
of all material contamination,
of all material contamination,
the devotee's mind
the devotee's mind
becomes broader
becomes broader
and transparent,
and transparent,
and he can see things equally.
and he can see things
At that stage of life,
At that stage of
there
life,
is peace,
there is peace,
and one is situated equally
and one is situated equally
with
with
me as Sachidananda Vigraha. Next, Supriti Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. The Mayavada conception of Kaivalya and that of a Vaishnava community is different. The Mayavadis think that as soon as one is free from all material contamination, he is merged into the existence of the Supreme. The Vaishnava philosopher's conception of Kaivalya is different. He understands both his position and the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the uncontaminated condition, the living entity understands that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme, and that is called Brahman realization, the spiritual perfection of the living entity. This rapport is very easily achieved. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, when one is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he is immediately situated on the transcendental platform of Kaivalya or Brahman. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurudev Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, audio is fine?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Paritakta guna samya darshano vishadashayaha shanti me samavasthanam brahma kaivalyam ashnute. When the heart is cleansed of all material contamination, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent, and he can see things equally. At that stage of life, there is peace. One is situated equally with me as Sachidananda Vigraha. So here is the word Kaivalya. Prabhupada uses the word again and again. Kaivalya, Kaivalya. We as Vaishnavas don't discuss so much. Sometimes this word comes. Kaivalya Pate Namaha. Queen Kunti prayers. Who knows that? Kaivalya Pate Namaha. So, what is a Kaivalya? Yeah, Shiva Kumar, you know that shloka, oh? Yeah? I repeat. Yes, Shiv Kumar ji. Hare Krishna.
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय sorry bro आत्मा रामाय शांताय कैवल्यपते नमः.
No, very nice.
Only half question Prabhu.
I know, no question now. Now class has started. Kaivalya Pate Namaha. Okay. So Kaivalya is very simple. In Hindi, the word is Keval, alone, isolated. And Mayavadis strive for this a lot, Kaivalya. For them, impersonalists, to be alone from the contamination of material world. We also fine with them. Isolated, being free from material association, free from the association of unwanted desires, being totally free from all material desires. And when these attachments to the material world go away, the impersonalists feel we become one with Brahman, and that is perfection for them. But a devotee sees Kaivalya in another way. Keval. True, he agrees to the point of being alone. In Bhagavad Gita also this word is there sometimes, being alone. Alone means he doesn't do anything except service to Krishna. Alone means he is free from material association. The tendency is there sometimes, Vaishnavas, they become Babajis, they sit alone. Many times people feel when there are so much difficulties in material life, I'll go somewhere alone. I'll go to a jungle or somewhere, correct? Sometimes they feel like that. And alone I will sit there. Or I'll go to the forest, I'll sit alone, isolated. केवल Kaivalya. केवल मैं ही होगा, कोई नहीं होगा उधर एक जनरल. Sometimes we imagine spiritual perfection like that. In the Brahma Samhita, we think the prayer, Brahma is sitting alone on a huge, beautiful lotus and offering beautiful prayer. So we sometimes loneliness and alone, we think it is wonderful. So actually it is very dangerous also, because in the immature stage of Krishna consciousness, if you sit alone, your material desires will choke you. Therefore, idle mind is devil's workshop will happen for you. Instead of having any spiritual advancement and spiritual nourishment, we will be choked to death, spiritual death in that position. It's always so much protection to be surrounded by devotees. If somebody values association of devotees more than this utopian idea of loneliness, And another thing is that the person, Prahlad Maharaj says, there are some people who go to the Himalayas and sit alone, and they are actually, he says, very selfish. They're thinking about their own emancipation. But I don't want to do that. Bhajananandi, Goshtanandi. In Vaishnavas also, Goshtanandi are better, because they are actually trying to preach Krishna consciousness to the mass of people. Otherwise, somebody alone thinking about his own spiritual welfare. Then I think all of you know, then how do we understand we have some Babajis in our parampara? Gaurkshar Babaji and Jagannathas Babaji. Babaji means they are more or less alone. But that is different. Prabhupada explains sometimes a pure devotee may be requested by Krishna to just chant for him. That is separate. It is a dictation of the Lord from within for a very advanced devotee. And Lord takes great pleasure in hearing that bhajana of that person. And because of that, the whole earth gets purified. And the Lord glances mercifully on the whole place. Whole place gets purified by the bhajana of this pure devotee. So that is exceptional. But normal person, in fact, if you see in our sampradaya, after Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, there is no Babaji authorized. He didn't do that, Prabhupada didn't do that. Okay, so we are expected, Prabhupada says, stay in association. In fact, the tendency to be alone is so high that when the foreign devotees used to come to Vrindavan, or devotees used to come to Vrindavan and go around by foreign, I've seen so many of my own students now under the shelter of Babajis. It's very attractive, alluring. They go to Vrindavan, they are going in places, they see somebody sitting alone, and they just take a shelter. They forget that we have one guru, not two gurus in spiritual life. But they take mantras and they take, one secret mantra to Radharani, I am giving you. And people, oh, so nice, so nice. So Prabhupada used to say, when he saw that happening, he said, you all go together doing Harinam in Vrindavan. Don't go alone. Because the alone thing is very, very alluring. I remember it was a long time, I went to Kumbh Mela and we had one devotee. It just vanished. Because they are alone. The Mayavadis mean they sit alone, they put ash and all. We could never find him. We could not find him. We searched camp after camp. We could not find him. That is the time I saw chara, safim, ganja being consumed by these so-called sadhus, and I was really, this is not now 20 years ago. I was quite shocked. They called his parents, they also searched. We could not find him. So the alone thing is very alluring, very alluring. And I'll go sit alone, and I will go to the forest in the Himalayas and alone I will sit. I don't want any association, anything. I'm fed up of people in this world. Okay, so this alone is alluring, but actually, you see Srila Prabhupada says so sweetly, being such a big Acharya, he says that I'm so fortunate I came under the protection of my spiritual master. So instead of being alone, we feel protected by the association, and then we start valuing the association. Right? Then we value. Once you value something, you feel so wonderful. Instead of being alone, we should think what I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying the association or I'm enjoying the loneliness. I'm seeking alone. See, we can be living in the same room with somebody, but we may not have any association with them. And it is just like Srila Prabhupada. He met his spiritual master half a dozen times, that's all. Yeah. And true, his spiritual master used to meet him with great affection and make him sit on the same place he's sitting. And the disciples will be shocked to see that, how dare he sit there. And he used to speak to him with so much pleasure. There was once a situation that Srila Prabhupada came with all his suitcase and climbed all the way. He was traveling, came to meet Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada. So the moment he came in, the devotee said, sorry, the darshan time is over. He used to give some time for people, that time is over. So at that time, Prabhupada felt very bad, and then he took his suitcase and he was going. But the door opened and he called him in, and door closed. They don't know what's happening. And Prabhupada used to really give him so much affection and personally instructed him so many things. But he was not living with him. But there were his other god brothers who were living with Bhaktivinoda Prabhupada. They were there with him. The association is therefore not just physical, in the sense that, long duration of time I am with somebody, so I know him. Maybe you didn't understand him. Okay. And for that matter, Srila Prabhupada says, when you are reading his books, we are actually getting association. Actually, we feel association of Srila Prabhupada. And that is why who read books, therefore they read books. They want to have association of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, when you are reading Krishna book, you get association of Krishna. When you are reading Nectar of Devotion, we are getting association of Rupa Goswami. We do get benefit of that association. We see how pure they were, how learned they were. When you read Goswami Grantha, it feels so wonderful. Okay? So association is to be valued more in spiritual life than this isolation. But this is the tendency, to be isolated, the great tendency. So the Mayavadis, their perfection becomes, as they purify the heart, they become free from material desires. That we are with it. We also want to be free from material desires. And to become free from unwanted association. That we are also happy, not to be just isolated. And that's merge into Brahman. That is Naraka. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did Mahaprakash in Mayapur, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, before leaving to Jagannath Puri one day, was blessing devotees and took whatever form they wanted to see, he was showing them and blessing every devotee. So one devotee says, Jyoti. No, Naraka, that is worse than hell. I don't want Jyoti. So, Kaivalyam Narakayate, that word is there. Kaivalya. Kaivalyam Narakayate. Tidapura Akasha Pushpayate. It says when a devotee receives the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Kaivalyam, why this use for impersonal is because for us, we don't talk about Kaivalya so much. For impersonally, that is the Mahavakya. Oh, I want Kaivalya. I want to be alone. I want Kaivalya. So devotee, Kaivalyam Narakayate. When Ramananda Rai was asked what is the greatest pain in spiritual life, he said greatest pain is separation from devotee. Greatest pain. We don't even know what it is. Therefore, when the disappearance day comes, the devotees feel so much pain. They feel pain of separation from a pure devotee. We have that Narottam Das Thakur song which we sing on the disappearance day. So touching it is. He's feeling, he's just expressing his heart out. He writes in Prabhupada simple Bengali, but he's a very, very advanced devotee. It touches so strongly his feeling of separation from devotees. So this being isolated, sitting alone, joining Brahman is narakayate. It's not very appreciated in spiritual life. So we have to continue chanting. So as the chanting progresses, our heart becomes purified and the real meaning of Kaivalyam comes out. In fact, Prabhupada many times points out that the Patanjali system is one system and Mayavadi is actually another system. But most of the Mayavadis take practice as a means, meditation and all, which is of Patanjali. You see, most of the spiritual organization today are khichdi between impersonalism of the Kapila and yoga system of Patanjali. They make khichdi of these both things. And Prabhupada says actually, but they misunderstand. The impersonalists misunderstand the Patanjali. In Bhagavad Gita also Prabhupada 6th chapter points out this, that Patanjali recognizes the pleasure the soul feels in touch with the Lord. When he sees the Supreme Lord, he feels spiritual pleasure. And he says Patanjali recognizes this. But the impersonalists don't recognize that. He said there is a difference here. In Bhagavad Gita, he quotes the whole big shloka in the 6th chapter, if you see, and he says, see, look here, Patanjali recognizes spiritual pleasure we feel in connection with the Lord, but impersonalists do not. What do the devotees do? We hear the leelas of the Lord and we feel they are full of transcendental pleasure, just hearing the leelas of the Lord, and it purifies us. Chanting the names, hearing the leela of the Lord, but impersonalists don't recognize this. They see it as mundane activity. They don't recognize the pleasure of, impersonalists don't recognize this. The pleasure of hearing the Lord's leela. They think it is mundane. But Prabhupada points out, Patanjali doesn't do that. You are real fools. Because these people take some things from Patanjali, what they like. But say, look at this. Patanjali is recognizing the pleasure the jiva is having in darshan of the Lord, in service to the Lord. You guys don't recognize this. So in that way, Prabhupada says, is one of the khichdi here, he points out in detail. So this generally the Kaivalya, people do not. So many times this Kaivalya word is used in the Bhagavatam also, but not in the sense that impersonalists use it. Kaivalya pataha, the path of Kaivalya. Prabhupada translate the transcendental path. Transcendental path of spiritual perfection, okay? In which person is free from material association and is going towards spiritual development. Hare Krishna. I'll take some words, some quotations, and keep develop on this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And the means which enables one to approach the Lord is called Kaivalya Pantha, or the only means of attainment of Godhead. This Kaivalya Pantha begins from Shravana, or hearing these topics that relate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the natural consequence of hearing such Harikatha is attainment of transcendental knowledge, which causes detachment from all mundane topics for which a devotee has no taste at all. For a devotee, all mundane activities, social and political, become unattractive, and in the mature state, such a devotee becomes uninterested even in his own body, and what to speak of bodily relatives. In such a state of affairs, one is not agitated by the waves of the material moods. Srimad Bhagavatam.
He's not agitated by the waves of material mode. This Mayavadi's allegory is Kaivalya Pantha, alone, isolated, free from the effect of the illusory energy. The material energy cannot disturb him. Prabhupada said, but how to achieve it? Shavana. But that is our way, not Patanjali Yoga. We will do Shavana. We will hear the holy name, we hear the chanting of the Lord's topics, and that will, what is the consequence? The transcendental knowledge will awaken in the heart. And what will happen because of that? Then the devotee becomes distaste. Therefore said, Bhakti Paresha Anubhava Virakti. Virakti means distaste should develop. Distaste for mundane topics. And what is the mundane topic? Social, political, become so unattractive. And uninterested in his own body, forget about relatives. He become uninterested in even his own body. That is Kaivalya Pantha.
The highest perfectional gain of humanity is to engage in discussions of the activities and glories of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by the greatly learned sages that the actual purpose of the ear is served just by hearing them.
Just by being near them.
Just by being near them.
When the glories of the Lord are going on, it's great fortunate to be just by near them. Yeah.
Purport. The impersonalists are very much afraid of hearing the activities of the Lord because they think that the happiness derived from being transcendently situated in Brahman is the ultimate goal of life. They think that anyone's activity, even that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is mundane. But the idea of happiness indicated in this verse is different because it relates to the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has transcendental qualities. The word Gunavadam is significant because the qualities of the Lord and his activities and pastimes are the subject matter for the discussion of the devotees. A rishi like Maitreya is certainly not interested in discussing anything pertaining to mundane qualities, yet he says that the highest perfectional stage of transcendental realization is to discuss the Lord's activities. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore concludes that topics regarding the transcendental activities of the Lord are far beyond the transcendental realization of Kaivalya happiness. These transcendental activities of the Lord are so arranged in writing by the great sages that simply by hearing those narrations, one becomes perfectly self-realized and the proper use of the ear and the tongue is also achieved. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of such great literatures and the highest perfectional state of life is attained simply by hearing and reciting its contents.
Okay. Now Prabhupada is distinguishing Patanjali from what the modern day impersonalists are doing. Yeah.
The yoga system described in the books of Patanjali is authoritative, and the modern so-called yogis who have manufactured their own ways, not consulting the authorities, are simply ridiculous. The Patanjali yoga system is called Ashtanga yoga. Sometimes impersonalists pollute the Patanjali yoga system because they are monists. Patanjali describes that the soul is transcendently pleased when he meets the super soul and sees him. If the existence of the super soul and the individual is admitted, then the impersonalist theory of monism is nullified. Therefore, some impersonalists and void philosophers twist the Patanjali system in their own way and pollute the whole yoga process. According to Patanjali, when one becomes free from all material desires, he attains his real transcendental situation, and realization of that state is called spiritual power. in material activities, a person engages in the modes of material nature, the aspiration of such people are to be religious, to be economically enriched, to be able to gratify senses, and at last to become one with the Supreme. According to the monist, when a yogi becomes one with the Supreme and loses his individual existence, he attains a higher stage called Kaivalya. But actually, the stage of realization of the personality of Godhead is Kaivalya.
Prabhupada redefining the word Kaivalya as it does in the whole Bible. It says Kaivalya is not sitting alone one place, meditating on Brahman. It says no. Realization of the Supreme Lord will bring actually the stage of Kaivalya. Okay, but therefore Kaivalya narakayate, because general understanding of the word Kaivalya is you alone, isolated, become Brahman, narakayate, that is naraka. Now this is generally, sometimes we do not understand, dharma, artha, kama, moksha is rejected. But why this word dharma is rejected? This is not parodharma, this is superficial following up. So just like in society, people follow superficially some rules and regulations, and they feel, yes, I am doing some religious activity. That is being rejected. Artha, then I get some, I do this kind of karma kanda kind of religion, I follow some vrata, I do some puja, and then dharma leads to artha, so much money, and then kama, then within this money, following the rules of dharma, I do some regulated enjoyment, and then I get fed up of enjoyment, and then I want liberation from this world. So we in Krishna consciousness reject all these four, and we are looking for prema pumartu mahan. Therefore Chaitanya Prabhu called it panchama purushartha. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha are called the chatur purushartha, but prema is called pancham purushartha, actual, the real benefit of human life. Sriradha Govinda ki. Yeah, the last one.
My devotee actually becomes self-realized by my unlimited causeless mercy, and thus, when free from all doubts, he steadily progresses towards his destined abode, which is directly under the protection of my spiritual energy of unadulterated bliss. That is the ultimate perfectional goal of the living entity. After giving up the present material body, the mystic devotee goes to that transcendental abode and never comes back.
So that is the blessing of Krishna. He says, my devotees, by my unlimited causeless mercy. So, in one sense, if you want to see alone, Krishna is alone. Because there is nothing except Krishna. Keval, if you see, there is only one. Oneness, yes, Krishna is oneness, because there is only Krishna and his energies. So, you cannot flatter Krishna. He is quite alone in that way. He can make out how much you are sincere in serving him. And by the unlimited causeless mercy, when Krishna is pleased by our devotional service, he bestows mercy. And then what happens? We become free from all doubts. We start progressing towards a destined abode, because the transcendental knowledge is realized by Krishna's mercy, which is directly under the protection spiritual and unadulterated. And he goes unto the spiritual world, and that is the ultimate perfection. After the giving of the present material body, the mystics go back to the transcendental abode and never come back. This is the Kaivalya perfection, real perfection of Kaivalya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to add anything? Any questions?
Style of this message. Like words traditionally used in Upanishads. Shanti, Rama, Kaivalya, Sama. The question could be spoken in different words, like more understandable for Vaishnavas. But still it is used. So maybe that will show us to Bhagavatam really connected to original message of the others, how it is spoken in English. So link is really there, and that is the real meaning. And it goes specific to what's used, but it shows that they are actually about devotion.
So Prabhuji is adding, Prabhuji is our Sanskrit scholar, says so many we read Upanishads, people just take out the meaning Shanti, you know, they love those words. Om Shanti, Om Shanti. They like, those words, but actually the original meaning of the words we see that comes out when somebody studies Bhagavatam. Otherwise, he will not actually know the intention also. You know? And I feel it's sometimes, it's like a Mohini Murti reveals nectar only to devotees. So the Vedas also act like Mohini Murti. They don't reveal themselves. If you hold the hand of a spiritual master and enter the Vedas, you get the real meaning. Otherwise, it hides itself. Those people who read the Prabhupada says, you try to understand spiritual life on your own attempt, you will only go to the external monism. You will not be able to, bhakti will not be revealed. You need to hold the hand of an Acharya who will actually give the nectar. Huh? Correct. You need. Kaivalya Patage Namaha. Neeraja Mataji, you wanted to sing something? What is that?
Yes, Prabhuji, I want to recite this shloka.
Yeah, recite.
Shall I, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Namo akinchana vittaya nivritta gunavrittaye atma ramaya shantaya kaivalya pataye namaha. Prabhuji, translation shall I read?
Yeah.
Translation. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self-satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and a master of the monists. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Malya Pataye Nama. Monist. Because there's so much Kaivalya, we don't speak about Kaivalya so much. They speak, that is their ultimate perfection. Kaivalya. I just want to be that. But rejected. Kaivalyam Narakayate. Okay, thank you. So, stay in association of devotees. Not imagine a perfection, you will be alone, where everybody is chanting all. I think that's what people like. All around the Hajaru log baithe hain, sab Om Shanti, 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 you know? Right. But actually to understand real perfection is to be in association of devotees, and that is an art. It's not easy to live in association, it's an art, it's a skill. Hare Krishna, everybody. Sri Radha Govinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
You want to give them close darshan? Hare Krishna. We can offer prayers together. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.